So this is a monohybrid cross question. An allele for red eyes in fruit flies is dominant, whereas the allele for white eyes is recessive. Fruit flies that are heterozygous for the eye colour were crossed, producing 84 offspring. So we've got two questions here. How many of the offspring would be expected to have red eyes? How many would have white eyes? And then the second part of that question, why might the ratio in terms of the number of flies not be exactly as expected? We'll come back to part B in a second, but let's work through the genetic cross first. So, parental phenotype, we can see they're heterozygous for their eye colour, and we know that red eyes is dominant, white eyes is recessive. So, parental phenotype are both red, but cross between heterozygous red for both parents. So the parental genotype will be one dominant and one recessive allele, so heterozygous for both. And then the gametes, well, we know after the alleles are separated during meiosis, there can only be one allele in each gamete. And we show the gametes by putting them in circles. And that's the same for both parents. So, if we draw a Punnett Square now to calculate the offspring ratios. Not the best table ever, but it will do. So, we have one individual which is homozygous dominant for red eyes. We'll have two heterozygous for red eyes and one homozygous recessive for the white eyes. So if we've got the phenotypes then, they can either be red or white. We'll have 3 red, or as a decimal, 0.75 to 1 white, and as a decimal again, 0.25. These decimals are going to become important when we try to calculate the next part. So, we can see in the question that we've got 84 offspring altogether. And we want to find out what the expected number of red eyes and white eye flies will be. So we just multiply that total number by the decimal. So 84 times 0.75 is 63 with red eyes, and we would expect 84 times 0.25, which equals 21, will have white eyes. Okay, the second part of this question, part B, so that was part A. Part B asks why the ratio in terms of the number of flies might not be exactly as expected. So for that, there are 3 common responses. Firstly, when the gametes fuse, this is random. So we would say there is a random fusion of gametes for 1 mark. Here we can see we've got quite a small sample size, so often it's worth checking this against the population size, but we've got a small sample size, And lastly, not all of the flies will survive. So we can say that there is a differential mortality, and that should cover all of those marks. So that was a monohybrid cross question. Done.